Hey friends, for our spotlight time today, we're really going to focus on that part of our discipleship pathway that we call glorify. Now, as we tend to our relationship with God, as we get to know God a little bit more, we tend to go to church. We tend to gather corporately and worship together, because worship is this kind of 1-2 punch of being poured out as well as being filled up by the Spirit. And so as we do that, we kind of get fuel for the journey, but also we give back a portion of our time, talents, and gifts to God so that we can continue on with the mission ahead of us, whether that be personally or corporately as the church. And so I want to turn the stage over a little bit to my buddy Matt, who is a part of our community and who is amazing at praising God. I've known Matt for a number of years, and boy, I love doing church with him because of his perspective that he brings, because of his amazing voice for song, and just the joy that he brings with that. So I'm going to turn it over to Matt. Take it away.
When I think about worshiping God and its importance, and the importance of worshiping as a community, I'm reminded by a lot of things that we faced this last year. Throughout the last year, I faced a lot of times of complete loneliness. I was kind of caught in my own head. What did I think about things? What was my view? What did I think was right and wrong? The problem with that is I'm imperfect, and sometimes I have crazy ideas. So when we set God as first and we worship Him, we get a proper place. When I put Him first, I'm reminded that I'm not in control. And to worry about the things that I cannot control just consumes me. And I found myself consumed. And the other reason why worshiping as a community is important is you realize you're not alone. So many of our driving things in the society today, social media, entertainment, our workplace, drives us to be alone. And the very thing that God fought against is humans being alone. He knew that left alone, we would destroy ourselves. And all of this past year, you can see how loneliness is set in for each of us. For me personally, not worshiping together was sad. And when I worship together with all of you, it reminds me I'm not alone. Many of you have walked the path before me and can teach me something. I have walked a path that I could offer to someone else. Another thing is you can hear the voices, all the varying voices in viewpoints, in their journey, in culture, lifting up praises to God in their own way, and it brings us together. It makes us whole. It's what makes us different. When Jesus said, "May your light shine like a city on the hill, and salt be salty," He was talking about that, not us by ourselves, but Christ in us and among us as a group. And this last year has proven anything. It shows that we are not meant to be alone. And God's call to worship together is not a suggestion, but a necessity for life. And so that's one thing that I've taken away from this last year. I always took it for granted. I grew up in the church, went to church with my family, and the moments when it becomes an option, it loses its beauty. It's not an option not because we do it out of obligation, but it's not an option because we can't experience life by ourselves. And so worshiping God and worshiping as a community puts us in our right place, right presence, and among those who could lift us up and love us. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you so much, Matt. As we continue on, if you want to talk more about a discipleship pathway, about worship opportunities, or what next faithful steps for you look like, just shoot us an email or let us know in the chat, and we will definitely work with you to develop a pathway that glorifies God, that grows in our faith, that gives faithfully, and that goes and shares that good news with everybody that you encounter. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this conversation, because it's always better when you're here.